Alright, you guys asked for it. Well, okay, you didn't actually ask for it, but you gave me money on Patreon, and that means you asked for it. So, alongside the pocket shop while I was at Walmart, I took a look at that there knife case, because Tolstoy is wont to look at that knife case. And while 99% of the time Walmart carries, let's just say, deplorable knives, all of them deplorable. But that being said, they've kind of upped their game recently, and they've started including, ironically, things like the Spidey Tenacious. That being said, it is likely cheap Chinese knockoff. It's like $5 or $10 less than what you would see on Blade HQ. This has been my beater for about a year now, and this high heat and humidity environment, trying to see if you can just see the rust. Look at that. Look at that. It's just been in my pocket. Just me sweating while hiking. I did go kayaking, though, a couple times, and totally forgot to get it out of my pocket. This thing. And you know what? I'm kind of just looking for a knife just to be my final knife, you know? I'm past that edgelordy phase where I keep on purchasing new and new ones that have more and more martial applications, and instead just really like the Spidey Tenacious, because it's really kind of cute looking leaf, sexy design, that big fat belly blade, the fact that it isn't really too, let's say, sheep threatening, and that it is very utilitous. However, bitch still rusts, and part of me doesn't care. You know what? You can drive it into the ground. I have this thing about impermanence where I'm just like, I would like all of my things to last forever and never break. Yeah, well, that's not life, Tolstoy. Anyway, I did notice that they had upgraded and they had gotten a couple of those models in, and one of the other things that surprised me, I've never really done any investigation into this brand other than the Ontario RTAC machete that I have. I should probably look into that. But they had a Rat 1 there. Well, my buddy Sam, who I may or may not be bringing on later to talk about this, because he literally, his autism is 100% knives. He knows actually now way more about this stuff than I do.
Look what I got.
Heck yeah, counterpoint. The counterpoint was just, honestly, that's a good Marshall knife, but it's just too big, you know? These days, more and more, it's... There you go. It's all about the Spidey Tenacious. All day, every day with that. He, I think, had mentioned getting a Rat 1, and it was 27 bucks, and I thought, you know, it'd be fun. Buy this, and then beat the shit out of it on the internet and just see what it do. So, I present, for the knife community's approval, my review of the Ontario Knife Company Rat 1. This is my resident blade expert, Sam. I've called him in to talk about the Rat.
The Ontario Rat #1.
Okay.
One of the best knives I've ever held, used, carried.
So this is the box that it comes in. Ultra plain. Not very eye-catching. Boxes do not matter that much with knives. But you get something like a Spyderco, or you get something like a Cold Steel, and then the box is much more flashy. Even more so if you get a Benchmade, fucking Benchmade, come with like little silk drawstring bags, you know, to stick your knife in. Okay. So anyway, it comes with a 1-year warranty on the front of the box. That literally means probably next to nothing to me. On this end, it says, caution, don't use your knife for stupid shit, but I am more than likely going to use it for stupid shit. It says Ontario Knife Company. It says it was number 14 in the case. Ontario Rat Model 1 folding knife. Nothing else to talk about. Okay, so it comes in this bubble wrap, which you can use to pop. This is the kind of person you are. Take a look at that bubble wrap. You know what I want to do? That's right. You know exactly what I want to do. I'm just going to coil that up. You know what I'm going to do? Okay. No. All right then. Okay, so it's bad bubble wrap. Fine. I don't care. So you get your rat. So the scale, I feel bad about this. I do not know any of the specs on this. You know, I'm doing the Tolstoy thing where I don't really research anything. I just generally figure it out as I'm going along, and I get yelled at in the comments. So is this by the same company that produced the RTAC machete?
Yeah, it's Ontario Knife Company.
Is that in relation with, like, Randall knives?
Yes, It is a Randall design. It is a Randall tech knife. You're very correct, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. I found it funny because I'd seen these years before, but I never thought I was going to see one in a Walmart.
Oh yeah, no, they sell them in Walmart now. They've gotten so popular to the point where they just sell them in Walmart. It's like the Spider Coats Nation.
So I think this is yeah, OS 8. Were they always OS 8?
Yeah, OS 8. Yeah, it's OS 8. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's a little bit soft, but it's decent. It's I got mine hair shaving sharp, no problem.
I don't really have a problem with the. I wouldn't have a problem with the blade design. I think if it weren't for this little ridge, I don't know, leading into the... If we were starting just from the blade, you see how that looks so much better than that? Specifically with this little lump here, it just looks awkward.
Oh, well, that's only there for traction, man, because here's the thing. Here's mine, right? It's literally just a thumb ramp, so you can just really grind on it, so you can really get a really hefty grip on it.
What's different? Yours looks a little different than mine. Is that a Rat 1?
Yeah, mine's a Rat 1.
Black handle?
This is the standard OS. Yep, black, nylon black.
Oh, mine's green.
$20. Yep, yours is green.
I'm not a fan of it, to be perfectly honest. I just generally don't like the shape.
Really? You don't? I'm surprised you don't like it. I mean, this is like a knife freak's dream knife, dude.
No.
This thing is ridiculous.
It's very unelegant.
It's not meant to be elegant, though. This is a soldier's knife. They designed this for the military. This is something that fucking Foxhound or Snake would carry, bro.
I hope not. I hope Snake would carry better than OS 8. You ever hear of, hey, you have the money for it. You ever hear of Mercworks?
I have, but I don't fucking want to find a Mercworks. I don't need to spend that much money.
Well, that's getting edited out.
Totally airsoft.
I gotta be so careful these days, dude. I've gotta be so careful about the next thing that I do that I'm actually writing a script.
Oh, well, shit.
I've never written a script before because I've never had to worry about what I say.
You never had to worry about that shit, but now you gotta worry about it. But yeah, the Rat 1, I mean, honestly, this knife is excellent. Everything about it is good. I like everything about it. I'm really surprised you don't like it, dude. What do you don't like about it?
Like I said, the awkward shape. And let me tell you something else. After the only two knives that I've been carrying the most have either been the Pardue or the Spidey. And they're incredible, minute, and super flat designs by comparison to this. This is just fat, and it just sits heavy in your pocket. And when you try to sleep on your side, it's not noticeable, but it's more noticeable than the Spidey.
Oh yeah, it's much more noticeable. It's about a 5-ounce knife. It's a little bit heavy, but I never noticed it. See, this shit right here, though, the Cold Steel Counterpoint 1, I fucking noticed this when it's in my pocket.
Yeah, that's true. The counterpoint is insanely heavy, but that's generally, I've only ever packed that. That's, to me, is like...
That's like a combat knife, really.
Yeah, that to me is like the Espada for sane people.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the Espada for sane people, basically. The Rat 1, though, I mean, the Rat 1 is like a counterpoint 1 with the fucking drop point blade, and it's toned down,
I don't dislike the shape of the blade. It's the handle and the blade together. I don't know, something about it. And then generally just the really... I don't know. Something about it just seems like it's that girl at the... Oh, never mind. I can't say that on YouTube. I was about to say that.
You can say it.
I was about to compare it to a practice girl, but then I realized, like, no, absolutely not. I can feel the tendrils of social justice slowly. But I am like, you know what I was like? Legit, I'm Faramir. I'm literally going before the king, going, they're killing us. We should do something. And the king is like, no. Nothing should get done. And I've just got the helmet, and I'm like, okay. And I place the helmet down, and it has the white hand of Saruman. And I'm like, no problems here. Nope. And I just noped out for the longest time.
No problems. Nothing going on at all. Nope. Fuck. Okay. But back on track. The Ontario Route 1, that's the way it's supposed to be designed, though. It's really supposed to be like a rugged, outdoorsy knife. It's meant to be carried as like part of your kit if you're a soldier, Yeah,
but I don't know. Just stylistically, it's not me. You have to remember, I'm not a soldier.
I know. You prefer form over function for you because you're more of a dressy guy, but I'm an outdoor.
Well, really, not anymore. I'm definitely more tactical than I used to be. Speaking of which, I don't know. I showed this off in a future video to come out. I was getting some footage. Oh yeah, I haven't gotten the footage of it yet. So my G-Shock ran out of battery, and so I switched. I was just like, I needed something to time my planks with. So I switched to like the shitty Casio Al Qaeda watch, you know, like the cheapest fucking digital watch. So I went climbing today. Just today. Look at that. Look at that damage. Maybe you can't see it.
Oh. I kind of do, actually.
I thought it was chalk. So I was like, oh, I got chalk on my watch. And I went to, and it just looks like I took it and went...
like my watch. Dude, I don't know if you can see this, but my watch is all fucking damaged. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Big old tear in the screen.
Fuck.
It's all fucked up from just working at my job, so I totally get it, dude. Cheap Chinese watches, what you can do, you know. But, yeah, no, totally. But, like, as I was saying, the Route 1, really just designed to be a fucking go-getter. You know, I used it for bushcrafting while hiking.
I was going to say, yeah, I actually have some clips of me cutting through some vegetation with it, and, yeah,
Oh, I didn't cut through vegetation is the thing. I cut through a big, heavy branch and made it into a fucking walking stick with the Route 1, dude. Just chopped into it, no problem.
Yeah, and so I used it for a little bit of bushcraft, but that was mainly a test. I need to get more footage of that before we go forward with this video. I just wanted to, like, check in and get your input on it.
Get my input. I think it's an excellent knife. I mean, if you just want something that's functional and that is just tough and sharpens up really easy and it's just overall a decent knife for the money, like a good budget knife, Rat 1 is very difficult to beat. I mean, the Spyderco Tenacious is good, but it's like $20 more.
This is true, yeah. The biggest selling point was its cheapness.
Yeah, it's cheap. That's like the whole point. It's like a cheap, rugged, indestructible knife. It is the AK-47 of pocket knives, basically.
But there is actually a pocket knife called the AK-47, and it's a cold steel.
Yeah, the cold steel. I know. I love that knife. Hold on. I'm on the phone! Oh, yeah, he's making food. Fun.
How does your dad never know that you're on the phone? Like...
I don't know. He's just an asshole.
Do you walk around, like, talking all the time? Like...
No. He just has this fucking timer that goes off in his brain.
And
so
he knows.
I better annoy my son right now.
He's like, yeah, he knows it's time.
It's time. It's time to annoy him. But yeah, the Rat 1, I mean, excellent knife. Everything about it's good. Buy it. Tolstoy's wrong. The end.
Jesus. Well, great endorsement. Your whole screen went black.
Well, you're like saying it looks ugly, and that's not the point. You know, it might look ugly, sure, but it's really just meant to be functional. That's like saying a wrench looks ugly, but doesn't do its job. You know?
It's also, like I said, heavy, though.
On the phone. Yeah, it is heavy. It's definitely heavy. I mean, you're talking about 5 ounces. You're definitely going to feel it at first, but once you start wearing it and start actively using it, it'll disappear on you. You'll notice, oh, I don't notice it anymore.
I kind of bought it for the express purpose of seeing if I could drive it into the ground.
Drive it into the ground? Yeah, you can do that. Definitely do that. It's going to take some time, but it'll happen. Tell you what, there's a video online of this guy who brought a Rat 1 back from Afghanistan from his buddy or whatever. And dude, that thing was beat to hell, but it was still sharper than shit. And it's still locked up solid. It had no blade play, nothing.
Nice. I should check that out.
That video made me buy that knife. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a good knife, man. Everything about it's good.
Nice.
Except for the weight. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy, yes, but it's a pocket knife. Who cares? You know, that's the way I do it. All right, I'll take out the trash. Yeah, I know. You're gonna have to edit this shit out. You realize that, right?
Oh yeah, no. All of this is getting edited.
Yes, all of it must get edited.
Plus, I think I've got enough footage, so I'm gonna cut it off.
Okay, cool.
Scales are moderately grippy. They are an ugly-ass army green. They are an olive drab. Kind of reminds me, the design a little bit so far reminds me of, does anyone remember the CRKT Igniter or Ignition? Was it called the Firestarter? I forget. But that had black on the top of the grip and then green on the bottom of the scale, and I thought it was ugly as shit, and it did not match any of my suits that I used to wear back during my suit days. so I didn't sport that a lot. These days it would not matter because I literally have 2 types of outfits. Green 511s and tan 511s, plus t-shirt. This is all I need for hiking / climbing. So, yeah, that's about it. I know really next to nothing about this company. It's like one of those things that I was aware of, but I just have no experience. It's like I know Almar is a thing. I don't know. I've never carried an Almar. I've seen a couple. I've felt a couple. They didn't feel all that high grade to me, but I know they run for like $130, and I don't know why. I can't tell you. Have a little ugly ass logo on a black clip. Yeah, that's fine. Green scales. They feel new and not... Actually, they don't... You know what? Yeah, by comparison to this, these are very smooth and buttery and not very grippy at all, which some people might like, considering that, you know, knives with grippier scales tend to shred up pants. That is a thing they will do. I have to get used to the thumb stud again. I'm going to be honest, the Spidey hole. I've gotten so used to the dang Spidey hole that I really don't feel as comfortable. But, of course, it flies out. Flies out just fine. Returns just fine. It's been oiled up pretty well, not by me. Comes like that out of the dang box. And you get that ugly-ass logo right there. It says Ontario Knife Company. And then the model says Model 1, OS 8. It's not that you can focus on that, because the camera is a total piece of shit. There we go. Come on. Okay, so that's not going to focus at all. Yeah, so it's OS 8 steel. My buddy Sam throws a lot of knife facts at me a lot of times, and I don't absorb 100% of them, but I remember this. He was talking about the rat, and I don't remember if I scoffed at it, because I disagree with him on certain things that he says about different blade steels and, you know, designs and whatnot, but one of the things that he said was that this knife was basically like a cold steel without the triad lock. In the sense that it had OS 8 steel. A lot of the cold steel line from back in the day was sporting that OS 8, which is a fairly decent steel, fairly strong, holds a really good edge. The only problem is, can you guess what the problem is? That bitch will rust. But you know what? I don't care. Give me one. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what that noise was, but anyway. Yeah. So one of the things, like I said... Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, that's just a... So like I said, yeah, no triad or axis lock. Straight up, just a frame lock. Some people say that frame locks are not sturdy enough for the things that they need their knife to do. For the most part, most frame locks, if built correctly, and not, you know, like from a cheap knockoff, you know, 7-Eleven knife that you've purchased, most frame locks will hold up depending on what you want to do with them. Will it make it a fixed blade? Absolutely not. But anyway. So I gotta be real. This knife is ugly as fuck, dude. Holy crap. I don't know, man. It's something about the way... It's ugly, but I feel like it's ultimately insanely utilitous. And what I mean when I say that is this, that the blade strikes me as a combination in trying to get the maximum amount of belly for cutting power. It's very thin. It's not very thick belly. Not a big belly blade. But the tip, that tip looks like they kind of just looked at the stabbing capacity of a clip point, but thought, can we make it a little more utilitous? Can we make it so that it's, you know, can be used more for, you know, the various, I don't know what to say. It looks like that point would be very handy with, like, a lot of stuff. That was one of the things that I really like about the leaf point blade of the Spyderco, is that you can do a lot of cutting with it, and you can also do a lot of sticking with it. Things that have, like, clip point blades, while they stab better, they don't stab more accurately. I'm not sure how to explain that. It's like... Nah, I'm not really sure where I'm going with that. The design of the blade basically looks like they were attempting to take the R-Tac machete and just make a folding R-Tac machete. Which means that this thing should be good at doing a lot of manual labor. This does not seem to me like a knife that was attempting to go for a tactical look, but instead was attempting to go for the workhorse look, which is good. Really, that's what I might need it for. The lockup, left to right, not a lot of play. Forward to backward, not a lot of play. Really decent. Feels like it's really going to hold up for not having some kind of axis or triad lock back there. Feels pretty sturdy. She's heavy. Definitely heavier than this. But some people really don't notice that heavy feeling in their pocket. I really don't, man. I've fallen asleep with bigger knives than this on my side, and just rolled over on my side and didn't even notice it. I feel like a paper test might be in order. Get some paper. Alright, single sheet of standard issue printer paper with nothing on it. Let's take a look. Let's see, first off, just how foobarred I've made the edge on this, just from the general use of about a year. Yeah, still fantastic. Doesn't do very good with vegetation. This is a very fine cutter, not a very heavy cutter. This was a distinction that had to be explained to me. I feel like in the past this was something that Tolstoy knew more about, blade geometry and whatnot, and as time went on I had to delete a lot of that information to make room for more practical things. Anyway, long story short, it's great for fine cutting, say like, well it would be, no, that's a bad sign. Also a very bad sign. Better. Certain parts of the blade are probably more fucked up than others, but better for more finer blade, more hollow ground, you know, less straight, flat grind, and more convex grind. Better for fine cutting tasks like, say, food prep. Whereas this, although I'm going to have to check with Sam, I don't actually know what kind of an edge this has. I have not given it a test. Doesn't really feel all that sharp. That's worrisome. Also feels like it has a burr on it. Okay. Right out of the box. Alright, well, let's give it a shot. I don't know, man. I guess I don't know much about plucking blades. Because that was fantastic. Which makes me worry that they've put a convex grind on this instead of a flat grind, which is really what I want, because I want this thing to be a beater. I could try to reprofile it, but that would be a pain in the ass. Although, this style of blade looks like it's practical enough that I could easily hone it, reprofile it, without too much trouble. There's no muss, no fuss with this. There really isn't any, what's the word? There's no serration. And it's literally just kind of, it's the closest thing to a straight blade right before, you know, it's just bent just a little bit, I think, just to give it a little extra belly. Oh, Yeah, sexy girl. Ooh, don't stop. Don't stop. Alright, let's check that tip out. I want to see. Yeah, excellent. I think we need a field test. These in mycology are what they sometimes refer to as LBMs, little brown mushrooms. These actually might even be psilocybes. Paul Stamets talks about how psilocybes tend to grow along the outskirts of roads and pathways where humanity is most present. Interesting, yeah. Pretty fucking solid lockup. All right. So as you can see here, if I could get out of my own sunlight, I got about third to halfway through this downed tree. Now it could be because it's decomposing at its softer wood. I'm purposely choosing trees that are already downed. I don't want to hurt any healthy trees, if that makes any sense, but god dang. This thing is performing probably better than almost half to all the knives that I've brought out into the bush.